Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and it's time to talk about The Walking Dead. Alright, so we're only 2 episodes into this season, and I'm already kind of liking it. You guys know the first episode for me was fine. There wasn't anything wrong with it. I just felt like it could have been handled differently in the grand scheme of things with the last season finale and the premiere for this season. I felt like it could have been better. Not that it was bad as it was. But you guys know I've had some criticism of the show throughout, but I am a big fan of the show in general, and this episode is why I'm a big fan of the show. Now, I have no idea what people are saying about this episode, but I thought it was one of the best episodes we've had. Not much happened in it, nothing exciting anyway, but I thought it was really well done, and here's why. And this is why I like the show in general, but why I have some problems with it. We often get episodes where there's lots of stuff going on, but nothing really happens. I don't know if that makes sense to many people, but hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. There's lots of action, lots of flash, but no real story progression, nothing like that. Here's why I liked this episode. We got introduced to a new character. Yeah, we kind of knew he was around, but not really, Ezekiel. But they introduced him, explained his whole backstory and his motives and everything, at least as far as we can tell so far, all in one episode. It was a great developmental episode for that character and for the whole kingdom, the whole new settlement. Everything was established all at once. There's none of this messing around, waiting for episodes and episodes and episodes, cutting back and forth, and finally, is he a good guy? Is he crazy? Is he a bad guy? We don't know. There's none of that. They just tell us the story. They let him be the character rather than hiding it and trying to make it all dramatic. No, they just established the character, and I loved that. I loved it. I loved that they, right off the bat, established the relationship between the Saviors and the kingdom. We don't have to wonder. We knew they were going to be under the Savior's power, under their control in some regard, but we didn't know how, and they established that right away. They're in the same situation as Rick's crew, but they have their own kind of underhanded way of taking care of that situation. You guys are probably wondering, just like me, I'm guessing everybody did, why are they feeding the pigs zombies? They're trying to catch pigs? Why? And then right as soon as I thought about that, I kind of thought, well, if the Saviors are there, they're probably going to want the pigs. So there you have it, and it turns out Ezekiel's not too dumb. He's a pretty sharp guy. They're feeding the pigs zombies so that they can give the Saviors the zombie-eating pigs. I thought that was great. It was a great way to establish that relationship, to kind of show us how Ezekiel thinks, how the kingdom operates. They're not like spineless. They're not just doing whatever Negan's people say. They have a little bit of chutzpah. Let's say chutzpah. Let's go with that. I liked it. I thought that was great. I thought the whole pig scene where they were giving him the pigs and he said, we made sure they're nice and well fed. All of that was perfect. I loved it. I liked the guy that got punched in the face. They probably had his name, but I don't remember. I thought he was a nice character. I hope he's around more. The actor delivered it well, and the lines were good. He's got that little bit of a witty attitude to him, a little bit of fight in him still, even though they're under Negan's power, and I like that. And then, speaking of new characters, let's talk about Ezekiel, because that's really what the episode was about. It was all about Ezekiel, a little bit about Carol. I really like Ezekiel's character. Very early on for him, one episode really, but I love the way that he is like a normal guy. Yes, he plays this king role to make everything work out, to keep the kingdom in order, and it works. Oh, and by the way, he has a tiger, so that's awesome. I wanted to have Zeus sitting right here. You guys know Zeus from the video that I actually uploaded today, my Deadpool review. It's my brother's cat. Nice, cool cat. Anyway, he wouldn't stay. So, he's got a tiger, so that's awesome. But he's using this whole king thing to keep everything working, to keep everything running smoothly, and it's all working. They've got this nice thing going. But he's just a regular guy, and that's what I like about him. Once he starts talking plainly with Carol, it was very apparent to me, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, I don't know, but it was apparent to me that he's supposed to be the kind of character that anybody can relate to. He was just a regular guy doing his regular job, thrown into this situation, and he's doing the best he can with it. He doesn't have, at least so far, any of those moments where they have these overly dramatic, hyper cliche lines where the camera's in tight and there's a moment of silence and then they say, "Take my arm off, Dad," or whatever Carl said. There's not like, maybe that'll happen once there's more drama around Ezekiel, but so far I get the feeling that he's going to talk plainly throughout when he's not playing the king role, and I like that. I appreciate that. I think many of the characters in this show have kind of devolved into these cliches, these tropes or archetypes of characters that we've seen all over the place, with lines being said that we've heard millions of times. Now, I'm not saying the show is horribly written or anything like that, but I'm wondering, are you guys getting that same vibe from a lot of the characters? For me, especially with Rick, they seem to just almost everything Rick says is like way over heavy. Everything has so much gravity when it doesn't. It just feels forced to me. So I like that Ezekiel's not like that. He's just talking like a normal person. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading way too much into it. Maybe I'm projecting too much into it because he's a cat. I don't know. But I don't know. I really liked the episode just because of the human interaction felt organic. It felt normal. It felt natural with Ezekiel. And then the other characters around was it Jerry, the second right-hand guy, whatever you want to call him. I liked him. I thought that was all good. I even like Morgan. Morgan seems to be coming back around. Not that he necessarily wants to kill people, but he's not quite so weird about it. And he had some really nice conversations with that kid talking about you have to do your own thing, and I'm just trying my thing, and it's not even really working that well. And I felt like the writing for this episode, and I didn't check to see if it was different writers, but the characters seemed way more realistic, way more down to earth, way less like they were written for a high drama play or something like that. I want to know what you guys think, if you guys got that same vibe, because for me it was very obvious. I don't know. Might have just been me. Might have been my mood. I don't know, but I'm curious what you guys think. And then I want to talk about Carol a little bit. I mentioned last season when I was doing these videos how I thought Carol's character had really developed well. She started out being a character that didn't really matter to one of the most important characters and a really likable character back when she was ready to do anything she had to survive within reason. She was a really strong character, kind of a badass. She was like one of the head people for the Rick group, and she was kind of awesome. But then she had that moment where she decided she didn't want to kill anymore, and I feel like that's not a good arc for her. As soon as she started being that weird, like, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to have anything to do with anybody, I'm leaving out on my own, and then Morgan tries to save her, no, don't save me, like, I don't think that was a good route for her. They could have maybe reined her in a little bit, made her a little bit less gung-ho about killing and stabbing and everything, but I don't like this arc for her. I don't like this new emotional low, if you want to call it that, the way she's just like, I don't want to have anything to do with anybody. I don't need this. You guys are all crazy, whatever. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. How do you guys feel about Carol's arc now? Are you liking it? Like, I still like the character. I'm rooting for her to come back around, to go back to being what I liked about her. What do you guys think? I'm curious. She's kind of like Glenn in that really, really nice character arc. Builds up the character really, really strong, really well developed character, and then they just kind of like Glenn, to me, lost a lot of his gusto by the end of his run. I don't know. I liked him a lot when they introduced him, and then I liked him more. Everybody did. Everybody liked Glenn. But then for me, I feel like they wasted him. Well, they wasted him for a lot of the last couple seasons. And then Carol feels like she's going down that route, so I'm hoping they don't do that. All right, I'm kind of rambling. I'm shooting this really late at night again, guys. I don't know why I'm not sleeping at all anymore. But that's my take on it. There wasn't like a whole lot to really discuss in this episode. We talked about the Saviors, though, so that was good. Morgan's back on track. We talked about Ezekiel, who's awesome. We don't have anything to say about the Rick crew. We don't know what's going on with them. This is kind of an isolated thing, and I imagine they're going to end up meeting at some point, working together. That should be cool. But that's about it. So I liked the episode a whole lot, even though there wasn't really any drama. There wasn't much action. There wasn't much tension. It was just nice writing for nice characters with some nice story development, because obviously the kingdom's going to play a big role some way going forward. So there it is. I'll stop rambling. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. I enjoyed it a whole bunch. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you comment so we can talk about it in the comment section below, and make sure you come back next week so we can talk about that some more. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.